From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays, you can enjoy burritos, cinnamon rolls, fresh brewed coffee, delicious tea, or even their coffee and cream ale, sold exclusively at the Ticket Mill location. Open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the weekends, right here at 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 93.7 The Ticket, live here every single Sunday from 1 to 2 p.m. You're listening to the Niko Project, and man, it's going to be back. We had a nice little three to 4 week break here over Christmas. A lot of things happened here in Husker Nation. The volleyball team, congratulations to them on placing second in the nation. They absolutely had a historical season with the whole entire Memorial Stadium gig and then transitioning on to being number one for a few weeks. Unfortunately, we didn't get that number one chip, but at the same time, too, man, it's amazing being a Husker volleyball fan here inside the state and, you know, being friends with those girls. They're awesome. I see them every single day walking throughout the stadium. Real cool people, and we're excited for what the future holds, man. There was no seniors on that team, too. Obviously, a lot of people do know that, but you got to reiterate that sometimes. We have a very bright future ahead of us in Husker volleyball. And then as for Husker football, Dylan Raiola committing. That was huge. I actually did not stay up to date on a lot of this news because I was in Puerto Rico for a little bit for about 2 weeks over break. So I came back and my phone really wasn't working well down there. So I came back to all this news and it was quite a shock, I got to say. So
just missed him. He was just at the Ticket Studios. I don't know if he had, it was like 30 minutes ago. Dylan Raiola spotting. He was checking out the Ticket Studio. So we had a good opportunity to go see him just a little bit ago.
I guess we're famous now. So if you want to be in the same place Dylan Raiola was, go ahead and stop by 93.7 The Ticket here in 1040 and O Street, guys. So for all the people out there, for all of my returning viewers and for some of my new viewers, my name is Niko Schultz. I'm on the track team here at the University of Nebraska, and our season actually kicks off here next Friday and Saturday here outside of Devaney. So if you guys are interested in coming in and seeing some track and field, we start up our season this January 12th and 13th. I will be competing in the 800 and 4x4. So if you want to see some fast times, go ahead and stop by this next upcoming Friday and Saturday. And so today for you guys, I have one of my teammates and very close friends and former roommate. His name is Nick Bryant. Nick is actually a Big Ten champion. I think a 3-time Big Ten champion, actually, in the 600 and the 4x4. And I believe I'm probably missing out on one other event, but he is an absolutely amazing athlete. I think Nick's on the call line right now, actually. Nick, can you hear me?
Maybe we lost Nick. Nick, are you still there? All right, Nick, we're going to hang up. Just have him go ahead and give a call back. But anyway, as you're giving his resume here. Of course.
Yeah, so back to what I was saying about Nick. I mean, for all my track athletes out there and everybody who runs track, I mean, he's a 45 runner. He's also a 115 runner in the 600-meter run. And so you bring that to any university, any school, you're getting a full ride scholarship. You are absolutely a top-level athlete. And so being able to train with him every single day has been truly amazing. I mean, yeah, he's a great character. track is not his only profession. He's big into politics. He's big in communicating. I mean, me and this dude are always having scholarship debates each and every single day at training table. And like I said, he's also a big video game head too. Growing up, he did tell me he was a big nerd. So this is all great context for what's going to come next. I mean, you guys really don't really know what you're in for yet when it comes to Nick Bryant. So
yeah, and while we're waiting for him to go ahead and give us a call back here, what does this kind of off time look like for track athletes? Like, how much time off are you guys really giving yourselves? And then what does that look like when you get back here? Obviously, you just got back to Lincoln. How quick do you get back to work?
You get right back to work right away. I mean, over break, theoretically, you're supposed to be training with the same exact intensity as always. But I mean, in this time period with no school or anything like that, it's almost as if you're being treated like a professional athlete. So I think that's Nick on the call line, actually. Nick, can you hear me?
I wonder if he's just in a bad spot.
And that's I wonder too,
because I was hearing a lot of static. So Nick, if you're out there, we'll keep you tuned in here. But could be because I know you said he was on the road, so it could just be some tough spots out here. As everyone who's had a phone in Nebraska can obviously point out a few dead spots. But anyway, as you're saying, you're getting back, getting healthy, and you're just getting right back to work. No off time.
No off time, man. We go right away. I remember for my first workout back, I got right off the plane. You know, I just turned 21 the other day too, so I get right off the plane. It was a very long break. There was a few sleepless nights too. I don't know what it was with the transition from being from Illinois to Nebraska, even to Puerto Rico a little bit, but my body was completely thrown off my time cycle. And so I get back and my coach tells me, all right, man, we got 500-600s on the day back. That's not ideal for me being a 800-meter runner coming back to 500-600s. It's not easy for anybody, but I actually ended up passing out on the final rep. I didn't hit the time at all. I didn't get through a 4 out of the 5, but then on that final rep, it just absolutely got me. So do we have Nick on his call line now, or
no? I think we'll try to get Nick on the second segment here, because it seems like he's in a tough spot when he's on. There's a lot of static going on. So Nick, if you're out there listening, maybe we'll just try to get him in that second one. But I'm curious. We can always take a shorter first segment here as well. But I do want to ask you some things, because we had Dr. Adams from Spine and Sports Chiropractic on Fitness Fanatics.
Oh man,
definitely check out Spine and Sports. But he was talking a little bit about flexibility. Obviously, a lot of great athletes are going to be extremely flexible, but he's also talking about you can be over flexible, where it actually can hurt yourselves.
Right.
Like, where do you fall on that? Like, if you have to go touch your toes, are you good on that?
Yeah. When it comes to flexibility, I flexed. I mean, when it came to like stretching out, I was great throughout middle school, great throughout high school, and through college. I gotta admit, I'm probably not the best when it comes to flexibility. I can touch my toes, I can do all of that. I do what is necessary to warm up and to cool down. And there has been a few times though where I've like overstretched or kind of got a little bit too crazy about that, especially with massage guns or bands. I mean, you can really pull your leg all the way back, and to the point to where you almost get like microscopic tears in your hamstring, or you can overextend your knees and stuff like that. And I've done that a few times where
like overstretching.
Yeah. So like a big tendency for runners is when they pull up in a competition or in a practice, and let's say their calf gets really tight, they have a tendency to stretch it out immediately. But the problem is when you are running and when your calf locked up or cramped, it already is super stretched out and super strained at that point. So you wanting to stretch it out is only going to mess it up even more. So when it comes to over flexibility, that is actually something I've had to, chill out with a little bit. And that's actually why I don't like stretching out too much. I'll do it for, anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. But then after that, once my body's good. I just let my sleep and my diet take care of the rest, because your body is a lot stronger than you think when it comes to things like that.
See, I always thought that was fake news, because I remember seeing those like overstretching. I was like, I don't even know how that's possible. So if you overstretch on an event and then like you can immediately tell, like right after, like, man, I stretched way too much before this run.
Yeah, I mean, you would really have to overdo it. Like I said, I was overdoing it pretty bad. Like I said, I would show up to a workout and be like, oh my God, I feel worse than I did, previously just after the workout. I was like, let's say I finished the workout, I'm pretty sore. I'll stretch way too much for like an hour or two. And the next thing you know, I'm even more sore than I was after the workout. I'm like, this is just terrible. And now I probably have to recover for, 2 to 3 more days. And I'm not sure the science behind it. As you said, you had that one guy come in and give some facts about it. But I mean, for me personally, shout out him. But for me personally, I definitely have overstretched a few times. And so, yeah. What about you? For personal preference, have you ever experienced overstretching or never?
I've never been competing at that level. So no, like usually my if I go for a run, my warm up is I'll go walk around, like I'll do 2 blocks walking and then I'll just pick it up to a jog. But yeah, as far as competitive running, I don't know what that timetable would look like. So before you run your race, how long are you actually spending stretching?
Before I run my race, I like to do it for like about an hour. Before we do like a real hard practice, you're warming up from 30 to 40 minutes. But then a race, you got to give yourself a little bit more time. It's different. You got to get in the right headspace. You got to go stretch on the hurdles. It's honestly not a lot of muscle stretching. It's a lot of like endurance in a sense. I mean, like we do a mile warm up and a mile cool down every single time we do a workout. So the first thing we do as soon as we get to the track is run that mile. And so we run a mile, and then we do a lot of hurdle mobility with our hips. And we really do not spend that much time on the ground stretching our muscles. I mean, you just get ready to go fast. I mean, you're warming up the muscles, but actually stretching them out. For me as an 800-meter runner athlete, I mean, I just don't think I need it that much. Rather, if I was a hurdler or a 60-meter runner and your muscles are firing on all cylinders, you definitely need to stretch out more because you're more susceptible to injury. But for me, I'm using 85 to 90% of my speed. Rather, as a sprinter, you're using 100% for 6 or 7 seconds. I'm going for anywhere from a minute 46 to a minute 50. I mean, it's night and day.
So what about shin splints? How does that come?
Splints.
Because those are killer for a lot of runners, track athletes. Those will kill everyone. Is that a stretching thing? Is that just unfortunate genetics?
That's just unfortunate genetics, in my opinion. I mean, I've probably had shin splints. The only time I got an injury was when I had a bone fracture. And I was telling myself it was shin splints for about a month. I was like, no, it's just shin splints. It's just shin splints. Until I actually went in, got an MRI, and they saw like the crack in my bone. And like, yeah, bro, you got a fracture. You're done. I'm like, oh man, I thought this was shin splints. I was telling myself that, but they say shin splints can happen anywhere on the lower shin to the upper shin. And so mine was directly on the bone. It was kind of like hanging off the bone a little bit. So I was like, no, it's just like a really bad case of shin splints. But no, a lot of people, I'd say a lot of distance runners get a lot of shin splints just because of the high mileage. I mean, if you're a distance runner at the Division I level, you're doing anywhere from like 60 to 80 to 90 miles a week. I mean, some people don't even drive their car that much. I mean, let alone if you're running out there, all that force in your body. A lot of distance runners do not weigh a lot. Their body fat percentage is the lowest out of all the event groups on the team. And so they're really susceptible to low iron and injuries as well with shin splints. But I heard they're just terrible. I heard they're just, you can't walk, you can't run, and it's just a scraping. And to get it out too, I've seen people take knives and kind of scrape their shins down and try to get it out. I'm not sure if you've had any personal experience with that, but I could never. Maybe I've had them, maybe I've not. But if you've ever had shin splints out there, I'm sorry.
No, I've been lucky. I've never had to deal with the shin splints. But like you said, I've seen plenty of athletes have them, and it'll take you out of a race. Like, you just can't perform. Like I've had guys where and during high school they had like 10 seconds because they're like, man, I got shin splints, and then they get to the end and they're just dragging because it hurts, like wincing with every step. But yeah, when it comes to the track athletes, what are some of the tricks that you've learned to really get yourself ready? Everyone's a little bit different, but how does Niko Schultz get ready for a run or a track event?
Man, this is a really good question. So I've actually done like almost like a deep dive study on this, especially recently too with the season coming up. I did a full thorough analysis on every single race that I ran last season, whether it was good, bad, or anywhere in the middle. And for one of my best races, I realized that I was locked in on all cylinders, whether it came to school, track, just my pre-warm up, everything. It was just all making sense to me. And so like whenever I am warmed up, like taking care of things in the classroom, I'm feeling good. That's one less thing I got to worry about. Whenever my body is feeling healthy, bam, I'm good. That's one less thing I got to worry about. Because if I know that I've done the work on the track, I've done the work in the classroom, everything else, and I have no stresses, I can just show up and compete. But if I'm on that track and I'm thinking about some assignment that I absolutely just bombed the other day, or a test that I know I didn't study for, or I know I didn't take care of my diet for the week, I'm thinking about those other things. My confidence is low. But if I'm taking care of every single thing and putting check marks on it, I'm showing up to that track and field race thinking like there's no reason as to why I cannot win this race, or why I cannot PR, or why I can't take this to the next level. So honestly, getting ready for me, it's a routine thing. I'm big on routine. If going to bed at the same time every single night, doing the same thing kind of every single day. A lot of people don't like staying stagnant, and I used to be one of those same people. I used to be very emotional as to where like I'd be a very, very high and a very, very low at the same time. Like I would just kind of fluctuate throughout my day. But I realized whenever I'm the most successful on the track is when I'm just staying very steady, just on a steady line, not getting too happy about things, not getting too sad about things. Whenever I'm just very locked in. Stretching is a big part of that. Warming up, making sure I'm doing things in a professional manner. If you ever watch a very professional athlete warm up, if you ever watch Usain Bolt warm up or anything like that, they have a very thorough routine. Even Steph Curry, I know it's a different sport, but I mean, you see that dude out there having fun, throwing the basketball around, kicking it, pretending to play tennis, and he's one of the best 3-point shooters out there. And he gives a lot of credit to his routine, his trainers, things like that. Honestly, when my confidence is the highest, I perform the best. And I'll ask it back to you. So like, it's cool to get two perspectives on things. So like, obviously I'm a Division I track and field athlete. It's very different as to what high school was. But for you, you were also an 800-meter runner, 400-meter runner back in high school. What was it like for you? What used to get you into the zone?
Usually anxiety. I was always really anxious
For the races.
Yeah. So anything I could do to not be anxious. So yeah, a little bit of stretching, but usually it was like, I'm going to get myself in some side conversations, like before my event even starts, just so I'm talking and I'm not thinking about it. Cause every time I hear that gun go off, like I'm just like, I'm thinking about, I got a mile after this one. Like you just do all the math in your head. And then as I'm like counting, like if I just go run the race, I'll do better.
Right.
If I'm like thinking about it the entire time. Like that was always my problem. But you mentioned something, Usain Bolt and Steph Curry. As we're kind of talking about these greats here, Usain Bolt has probably one of the best histories in terms of being just a humble guy.
Right.
In terms of the greatest athletes we've seen in all sports, is Usain Bolt probably the most humble athlete that we've had the opportunity to witness? Because he'd give fist bumps, he'd shake hands if you're just holding his block. Like it didn't matter who you were. He was always just an incredible athlete and he had zero ego.
Right. In our time, in our generation, probably. I think the most humble athlete I can really think of off the top of my head would probably be Barry Sanders. I got a chance to check out a little bit of that documentary. Mm-hmm. Each time that dude would score a touchdown, he's handing the ball off after juking, almost half the team out there.
That's a good one. Yeah, Barry Sanders might be one of the most humble athletes.
I think Barry Sanders is one of the most humble. I know when Usain Bolt would run his races, he would be celebrating, with 20, 30 meters left to go because that's how good he was. And I do know what you're talking about when you come to the fist bump, being super nice to the reporters, treating people, like how they should be. I mean, athletes, yes, they are superhumans, but at the same time, too, I mean, we're all humans at the end of the day, ability or no ability, and I love how he treated him like that. But at the same time, too, he did hold back in a lot of those races. I feel like once you ran that world record of 9:58, I believe, what it was, 9:59, he held back a lot of times after that. He had so many other opportunities to break that record, even the 1919 record. That record, in my opinion, is more insane than the 9:56. I don't think anybody in the world will ever come close to that ever again, that 1919.
I don't think they will either. How many years do you think it would take? Like, do you think we have to go 500 years forward for it to ever get touched?
I don't know if he did it in 2008 or 2012. I forgot the year he did it. But the closest to ever come to it was like 1932.
Yeah.
And so like you look at it from a second standpoint, if you're a normal person, you're like, wow, like, there's only 0.2 seconds. But the amount of people in the world that have broken 20 versus the amount of people that have broken 10, it's night and day. I think it's only been like one or two high schoolers ever to go under 20 in high school. But then when it comes to the 10-second meter mark, I mean, there's almost 20 people. And there are so many people in the world that have broken 10 rather than broken 20. To break 20 seconds in a 200 meter, in my opinion, is so overlooked and underappreciated.
I think that's a good point to wrap up right here. Just give Usain Bolt a little bit of love. But nonetheless, this is the Niko Project. We're here with Niko. We'll try to get his guests here on the other side of this first break, but don't go anywhere. Plenty ticket weekend content coming up ahead.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Liberty Law Group is committed to the defense of liberty for those accused and the pursuit of justice for those injured. Liberty Law Group's relentless trial attorneys specialize in criminal defense and personal injury law. We believe in treating every client with respect, compassion, and understanding. We know that navigating the legal system is stressful and overwhelming, but Liberty Law Group will carry that burden for you. When you're facing legal issues, make the right call. 877-42-LIBERTY. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
School taught you all about the four seasons, spring, summer, and so on. And then there's the way we really tell what time of year it is in sports seasons. Football season, baseball season, or off season. But what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now. And now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolateseason.com. Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Bagels & Joe is celebrating 31 years of business this year. With 4 Lincoln locations and 1 in Seward, there's more options for your favorite breakfast spot in town. And don't forget the Joe card for unlimited drip coffee for just $8.95 per person per month. Bagels & Joe, celebrating 31 years of serving Lincoln and the surrounding areas.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread's Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread's Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Today's agenda includes office meetings this morning, followed by a client lunch, then back to the office for another meeting, and ending the day with a presentation at a client's office. When you are on the go, you need an office phone that goes with you. At Hamilton, our business phone systems make it easy to sync your office phone features to your cell phone for quick and seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you need better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? Or a 14-year-old girl who signs up to every after-school activity, not to make friends, but just to get something to eat? Or a retiree who fell ill and had to choose
between getting medicine or groceries.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live for the Niko Project, and we think we got the call line here working for my guy, Nick. We'll give it a shot. Nick, are you able to hear me? Hello, Mr. Bryant.
He just hung up on us. All right. No Nick.
Oh, man. No Nick, unfortunately, for today's show. But, ladies and gentlemen, we were previously talking about some different track aspects. And I don't know if you're a fan of track and field, but today's the day you're going to learn a little bit. So as you guys know, Usain Bolt, one of the best runners of all time, arguably the best runner of all time. He holds the 100 and 200 meter world record. He has marks of about 9:59 in the 100 and 19:19 in the 200. And not a lot of people realize how crazy ridiculous these times are. The 9:56 or 9:59, my apologies, is an amazing mark. It really is. I mean, the previous world record was in the 9.6s, like the high 9.6s, but to break that 9.6 mark was crazy. But then he doubled down and went back and went 19:19. And not a lot of 200 meter runners have ever got the chance to break 20. To break 20, it is so hard to hold that top end speed for 200 meters. Your body can only hold top end speed for about 7 seconds, I want to say. And so to be able to go an extra 13 on top of that and, go 19 seconds is just truly amazing. We're pulling up some of Usain Bolt's stats here on the computer. And where I don't think in our lifetime we will see another athlete go anywhere near 1919. Obviously, we have Noah Lyles. He is a current generation phenomenon. He is I believe, 1931 200 meter runner. And he's also broke 10 a few times, but still 1919 is untouchable at the moment.
Yeah, it's insane. It's crazy to look at. He has twice broken the 200 meters world record, setting 1930 in 08, like you said, and then 1919 in 09. Helped Jamaica to 4x100 meters. I mean, he just has records on records on records. If
complete accolades,
we could spend the rest of the hour just naming every individual accolade that this guy's come by. But just an incredible athlete.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up in track, I know you wanted to be a football player,
right?
But at one point in time, was there any track athletes you really admired, looked up to, or like, if I'm going to do this thing, maybe that's the person I take a few pages from?
Yeah, no, I actually didn't get inspired by any track athlete until about my senior year of high school. I started track in the 7th grade year, and it was only to get faster for football. And then throughout the years, I really started taking track serious my junior year of high school when I had to quit football because of COVID. There wasn't going to be a season, so I had to go full out, put all my chips in for track. And I went to a indoors Adidas Nationals meet. It was some of the best 800 meter runners in the nation. It was called the Adidas 2021 Classic Invitational in Virginia, I believe. And so I'm at this meet competing, and I'm leading the race for about 3 out of the 4 laps. And after the race, I had a chance to listen into what the announcers were saying about the race. And they said, man, this kid right here, Niko, he really has the builds and the feel of Nick Symmonds. And I was like, who the heck is Nick Symmonds? I have no idea who this guy is. But apparently, or not apparently, he was one of the best 800 meter American 800 meter runners in the world. In the 2012 Olympics, he faced off against a guy named David Rudisha. David Rudisha broke the 800 meter world record in that race at the Olympics. And I think it was in Rio. That's where the Olympics was. But he ran a 140. And so for context, he came through 449 seconds for an 800. So he ran 49, and then he doubled down with a 51. Nick Symmonds ran about a 142. So he came through in about 50 and then 52. I mean, these marks are insane. And Nick Symmonds, he was kind of like me. I mean, he used to be a football player. He was an amazing athlete. And he kind of had like a stockier build. I kind of, since I was a football player in the past, I did have a very stocky build. I was kind of a power runner. I'd be a front runner as well. So, I mean, I'm going against guys who were cross-country runners coming down. I was a 400 meter runner coming up. So I was real stocky. And so I did a lot of research on Nick Symmonds. And Nick Symmonds actually is a very famous YouTuber as well. He is making more money on YouTube now than he has ever made while being a professional athlete. And that is actually bizarre to me. I think in the track and field community, people are so underpaid. The only times that they get paid is through sponsorships. And not a lot of athletes are fortunate enough to get sponsorships. And it's a very cutthroat business as well. If you do not perform to their standards, if you are not achieving these marks and placing anywhere from top 3 in each and every single meet, they're going to cut your contract and you're going to be done. And even if when you are on a contract, you are barely breaking $100,000 per year. And $100,000 today is almost like, the $60,000 a few years ago, obviously with inflation coming on. But I mean, the track and field community is underpaid in my opinion. What is your thoughts on that? I'm not sure if Harrison, if you know much about what it's like to get paid as a track and field athlete. I mean, but if you take one of the worst NFL players versus some of the best track and field athletes, they're not. I think an NFL player might be getting paid more.
Oh yeah, probably still getting paid more. It's a tough thing to do. It reminds me of wrestling, like or volleyball, all those niche sports. Unless you have some real pro league that consistently gets numbers, the monetization afterwards is just going to be a difficult road. Like you got to be Usain Bolt, you got to be Jordan Burroughs. When it comes to volleyball, you got to be in Nebraska. Apparently, that's the best way to get fans in here.
That's what it feels like.
Helps when you have really great talent as well. But, I think it's a thing where I'd love for them to get paid, but what does that next step look like? Like, how do you you'd have to essentially make some sort of track entertainment where people can have a season, they watch, they see the best athletes. What does that look like for track athletes? Like, how can you see the space evolving? Because to me, the biggest problem is it's just like the wrestlers. There isn't a space to showcase your talent. Therefore, there's no monetization.
Right.
You just don't have a good TV spot for people to go watch you perform. So what is the next step for track athletes to maybe get paid?
Well, check this out. Each and every single 4 years, there's obviously the Olympics, right? So when the Olympics come on TV every 4 years, you're forced to at least check it out. It's on all the TVs. It's NBC. Every single channel you can think of, the Olympics is on, and people are feeling real American at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
They see an American performance, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I got to check this out. This is America." You only see this once every 4 years. I feel like the Olympics is not run too often. Like every single 4 years, that's a very long time. Only 2 Olympics within a 10-year span versus a football game. There's how many football games are played every single week? I mean, you got Thursday night football, Monday night football, Sunday night football. You are seeing 3 different days of just nonstop sports, plus NBA being played all throughout the week. Track and field meets are just not frequent enough, in my opinion. But at the same time, too, we are absolutely destroying our bodies. Yes, football players are getting contact each and every single day. That sucks. NBA players, they're not getting as much wear and tear on their bodies as football players or track athletes, but they're still performing at a high level. But they're able to perform, once every 2 or 3 days. I think if you make track and field a more frequent sport and make the arenas more of an entertainment space, I think track and field arenas are a bit generic in my opinion. I think when you go to a football game, you can go to concessions, you got little games depending on the stadium you're at. You got a big culture around it. I mean, go Big Red. Obviously, everybody's screaming that. You're all wearing red. You're representing the same exact thing. There has to be a way where maybe we bring the track and field, competitions to like something similar to that of a football stadium.
I like where this is going. I was going to ask, like, okay, so what are we adding to track and field events to add some more of that entertainment aspect?
A different event, you're saying?
Like anything, like an event, concessions, like what are you adding to this track and field event?
You got to bring more media credibility to it. I think you have to hype it up as the media. If you get more reporters there, if you get more professional athletes there, if you got people, I don't know if I even want to say this, but if you get people sports betting on track,
I was going to say, it's almost like horse racing.
Exactly. It's almost like horse racing in a sense. Obviously, you have 8 lanes, you have different people, you're betting on people. But I mean, I was watching a video the other day on
high jump over under would be so fun.
Dude, the high jump over under would be crazy. You're always going to hit if you're in Nebraska. Those dudes are jumping over 7-1 each and every single meet. But I mean, if you're really looking at it though, I mean, it's unfortunate to say, but in today's day and age, people are betting on everything. I was watching a podcast the other day, and I'm not going to name the athlete, but he said that in his DMs after every single performance is 50-50. It's either people cursing them out, like, why didn't you hit my over? Why didn't you hit my parlay? Or it's people absolutely loving them. Bro, you just pay for my rent, bro. I put my mortgage on you, man. Thank you. It has become so crazy. But honestly, if you want to get views in a bad way, that's how you do it. But I do not want to approach it like that. I want to approach it from just like a fun standpoint, like as a track and field athlete, when there's a lot of people at your competition, it's a good feeling out there. I mean, you don't want to notice it because you don't want to psych yourself out. But I mean, if you're looking back at it and you have all these people wanting to see you perform and just there just because they want to be there, it makes the sport so much better. Our sport is very toxic, unfortunately. We don't get paid enough. Not a lot of people care about our sport. The sport's brutal. It hurts your body. And like as I said, you don't really get much from it, but besides the competition aspect, a lot of people who have been previous track and field athletes go to coach because they say it's the closest thing you get to being a former athlete. I mean, that's my stance on it.
Yeah, and you see that a lot across all sports. Like even the guys that say they do play NFL, they're done with their career. Where do they end up? A lot of times they'll end up back in sports media just because it's a good step, or they'll get into coaching. But yeah, I always try to think of like what can make track and field events more entertaining. I think they're fun. I think the hardest part is they're just long days in events. I think it's hard for people to kind of sit down. Like if I really like high jump, what time are they starting? Who's all going? It'd almost be like you'd have to really promote it. And how many fans, like what's the biggest amount of fans you've seen in a Nebraska track and field event?
I mean, I've seen the stands pretty filled before. I got to say probably Frank Savine in my recent years has been the biggest one. If I had to get a guess, maybe a little bit over 300, 400 people inside of the Vanny. I mean, compared to the football stadium where there's 80,000, 70,000 people going, and that's not even filling the stands. So, I mean, we're talking, I mean, what's the term? it's not apples to apples, but
apples to oranges.
Yeah, apples to oranges in a sense. I mean, it's honestly ridiculous. But I mean, how do you bring 90 plus thousand people to watch people run in circles? I mean,
that's like 1,000's to start, right?
Yeah.
Get 2,000, 2,000.
How do we get to 1,000? I mean, do we make it more of a social media thing? Do we get more cameras in there and start live streaming? And
well, how were those fan bases like when it was actually pretty full?
When it was packed? Oh,
Yeah,
it was
like
awesome.
were people having a great time?
Yeah, but everybody in there was there for a purpose. They're either supporting their friends or they were former Nebraska athletes wanted to go in and check us out. Like, yo, man, I had so many guys who ran my same event back in the 90s come up to me after my race like, yo, man, that was awesome, man. I was an 800 meter runner back in 96, man. We ran almost the same time. It was so fun watching you out to represent us. And like, that's a good feeling, but you don't get that. I mean, out of the 400 people there, that's 6 people, right?
Mhm.
All the other people there are there for different purposes. Maybe you do different levels. Maybe you create more of a facility thing. So like, all right, this is the track on level 1. You go up to level 2. This is all the field events. This is high jump. You go up to level 3. This is throw. So like maybe you organize it better so that people can, go to specific events. But I want to get it to the point to where we have close and upwards to like 100,000 people at one track and field meet going absolutely crazy. And if we just get one season like that, or even just one meet like that, I feel like other schools and other track and field, places are going to start mimicking that. Kind of like with volleyball.
Mhm.
What happened right when Nebraska volleyball said, okay, we're going to bring it from indoors to outdoors inside of Memorial Stadium. Other people started copying. Iowa, they brought their basketball game outside. And then now this upcoming season, there's going to be a bunch of more games like that. It just takes one person to start the trend.
Yeah, and I think you did definitely nail it with Nebraska volleyball because we saw Caitlin Clark in Iowa, which
Yep.
if you're Iowa, smart move. You got a great basketball athlete in Caitlin Clark. You got to use to capitalize on it. I wonder if that's it too. Is like sometimes when you get those great athletes, like you capitalize on it.
Right.
Like that's what Iowa did, right? They have Caitlin Clark, a great basketball player. The hype's going to be there for the season, but we can get it going early, knowing that we already have a person. Like feels like if Nebraska's got a great track athlete, like really market, push them. Like you have to come watch this person. Like you won't believe how fast they run. You won't believe what their pole vault is.
Right.
Man, other things, the only other ways I could really think about is like you add a crazy event in there. I don't know if it could never be like official, but almost like the truest best athlete on the track, and it's almost like American Ninja Warrior style. It's like you go run a 400, throw a javelin, high jump, and then hurdle, and you'd have to combine it all together to get like some sort of best athlete all around out there. It'd be tough, but I think the best way to do it, the healthiest way to do it, would be market your premier athletes.
Yeah.
Like fine, because let's be real, like girls basketball, it's awesome where it's going right now, but no one was watching LSU and Iowa because girls basketball is everyone's favorite sport. People are watching LSU and Iowa because Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Yep.
Like that was a matchup, and that got everyone watching in high numbers. So I think track's got to be the same way. Like you have to tell people, like, no, you don't understand. Like you have to go watch this person. Like it's unreal. We've never seen it before. Is there anyone in the Big Ten right now in terms of track athletes? Doesn't even have to be just Nebraska, but when you look around, like this person is going to be showing up on radars. Raiders.
I don't know if we got anybody like that in the Big Ten, but I gotta say there's this one guy from Texas who is going to go to the Olympics this year. I forgot his name. Unfortunately, I literally follow him on Instagram and I watch a bunch of his content, but he won nationals last year. I think he might have broke the outdoor multi record, the decathlete record. And this dude is just an absolute unit. He's 6'7". He runs like a 47-400.
He's 6'7"?
Yeah, he's 6'7", does a multi. He high jumps like 7 feet. This guy's just an absolute freak of nature. And he was just like breaking all these records last year. He is just an absolute just maniac. And he broke all the records at Texas. And Texas is a very elite, organization when it comes to track and field and in all sports. But just this guy was just like otherworldly, and he blew the whole entire field away. I mean, he beat a guy who broke the indoor national record. Like to beat a guy who broke the indoor national record, you got to be a different type of dude, and he's projected to win the Olympics. So like when you got somebody like that, who goes exactly, you got to market that. And like I think track and field too. I think marketing he's fallen very short, because back in the day I used to talk to my old track and field coach, Gary Pepin. He retired 2 years ago. And anytime we had the conversation about track and field and where it's going and where it's been, he always mentions about how we used to have coliseums filled with people, filled with upwards of 20 to 30,000 people just there to watch the events in the 80s and 90s, right? And this is pre-phones, pre-social media, and this is just pure entertainment of people wanting to get in and see people compete, see people have fun. Yeah. It didn't take no social media, it didn't take none of that. It just came to the point of, all right, I want to see these college athletes who've been working super hard perform at their best. And today, I feel like that's not enough for people now. You get on social media, you can swipe. Oh, cool, that guy broke a world record. Swipe. Oh, she broke a world record. It doesn't hold the same weight. So now we got to pivot and think like, all right, as a marketing, how can we do it? Do we create cooler merchandise? Do we create cooler merchandise for, you can create like a really cool shirt or a really cool hoodie, kind of like how NFL does it, right? I mean, you can buy people's jerseys. Do you buy people's track uniforms? How do you make that a fashion statement? Do you put someone's track uniform on a celebrity? It's like, how do you go about it? And like you said, too, that basketball game versus Angela Reese and Clayton Clark, they were just there because of those two athletes. They weren't there just because of the team. So how do we do that with our athletes? I mean, the first person that comes to the top of my mind is Jess, right? I feel like everybody on the track and field world, or even anybody in a Big Ten school, knows about Jessica in Nebraska because of how good she's promoted herself on social media and marketed herself. Like, why can't you buy her jersey, right? Just go just to see her. And on top of that, too, you're watching all the other athletes. Too. Like, there's so many. The snowball effect is crazy, but to get it started is rocket science.
Yeah, and you're not the only one. As we talked about, there's pro leagues, WNBA that still have that problem. That can't quite figure out their demographic. That's always a tough one, too, because every time I try to think about how do you fix the WNBA problem, is like you have to get the girls to watch. Like, the problem is the biggest demographic are guys, which is fine. That's great. But it's like the market that's untapped is that girls market. So I think volleyball's figured that out, and the guys have gotten into it, too. But now it's just getting to a point with track. It's interesting. I think it definitely starts with marketing your best athletes. Like, even if the guy's from Texas, that's good for track as a whole. Just get people to go watch that guy. 6'7" runner, that's multi events. Like, that's going to be fun to watch regardless. With that being said, though, we do got to go ahead and throw it to our final break here on the Niko Project. Followed up by that, we will have Bill's Thrills at 2 to 3 p.m. scheduled as always. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Start 2024 off on a high note by loading up on meat and more at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through January 9th is spend $40 and you'll get a free 14-ounce ribeye, limit of 3, and $1.50 off all KC Canning Company products. Plus, don't forget there are 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street. Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
If your home isn't delivering the year-round comfort you expect, call the experts at Bryant. Warm and cool, comfort and confidence. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Bagels and Joe is celebrating 31 years of business this year. With 4 Lincoln locations and 1 in Seward, there's more options for your favorite breakfast spot in town. And don't forget the Joe card for unlimited drip coffee for just $8.95 per person per month. Bagels and Joe, celebrating 31 years of serving Lincoln and the surrounding areas.
When it comes to joining the Nebraska Army National Guard, you've heard it all before. College, healthcare, signing bonus. But joining is so much more than that. It's setting yourself up for a new and better chapter of your life. I'm Staff Sergeant Paul White, and because of the Nebraska Army National Guard, I'm in control of my career. And when the workday ends, I get to come home to my family. Write your next chapter by joining the Nebraska Army National Guard. For more information, schedule a meeting with me, Staff Sergeant Paul White at nationalguard.com.
The Mill Coffee and Tea inside our 93.7 The Ticket studio is now open 7 days a week. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sundays, you can enjoy burritos, cinnamon rolls, fresh brewed coffee, delicious tea, or even their coffee and cream ale. Sold exclusively at the Ticket Mill location. Open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the weekends, right here at 1040 O Street in downtown Lincoln.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back to the Niko project. I stole your intro. I'm just that used to it.
You're good, man. Keep it going. Keep it going. I like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Join in 402-464-5685. You can catch Niko's face on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo, channel 961. We got a little bit of time here yet. Niko, I know you're a Chicago Bears fan, so I got to ask. There's a field situation today. The Bears play the Green Bay Packers. It's a big game. If you're a Bears fan, feel free to chime in the Starter Heyman text line. If you're a Packers fan, I don't want to hear it. Not today.
Stay off the line.
Good chance, right? The Bears have an opportunity to knock the Packers out of the playoffs. Obviously, there's nothing in it for the Bears. They're already eliminated, but there may be something in it for Justin Fields to keep his job. Is that a conversation that's blown up, or is Justin Fields really playing for his starting job at the starting quarterback position for Chicago Bears?
I do think the decision has already been made, in my opinion. I think this is only going to push it either for greater or for worse. Obviously, if he wins, the push for Fields to stay is going to be tremendous. But then obviously, if he loses, it's going to be like, all right, maybe we do trade this guy. Maybe we do plan for the future. In my personal and respected opinion, I think you keep Fields, you get Marvin Harrison, watch Harbaugh win the championship, pick him up too, steal some plays from there.
They're keeping Eberflus.
They're keeping him.
Yeah.
Oh, no. All right.
I agree with you. I think the decision's already been made.
I think it's already been made too as well. So I remember a video that was going live on Twitter that was very viral on Twitter of Fields talking to his coach, and they were kind of having like a one-on-one conversation. And a lot of people are saying one of these two guys are staying. I'm not sure which one. Hopefully it's both, or it might be they're both leaving. So one of the two have already decided to stay. Can we keep Fields in the mix? If you were the GM and if you saw all this Twitter talk going around, I mean, all the sports analysts are talking about this as well. What are you doing for the future for this upcoming 2024 draft?
It's hard because if you're being a true GM and Ryan Poles, I think he's actually been good despite
right.
Like he spends his money. It's not like we finally have a GM who's like, I'm not just going to not pay anything forever and just be okay with being relevant with my history. He's actually spending money to win. And you're seeing that a little bit more with the wins. But with Justin Fields, I mean, everyone's got a number.
Yep.
It depends what that. I mean, if someone is giving you hand over fist like a crazy deal,
franchise tag,
because there's so many teams that need a quarterback right now, and they'd all be salivating over the idea of like, man, if we can just get Justin Fields, we can save a lot of time here, and we can just plug ourselves right. But if you're the Bears, you got a young team. If you trade Justin Fields, you avoid yourself having to pay out his contract. You get another rookie deal contract on a quarterback. So Justin Fields has intangibles that you're not going to replace. Right. That's why he's on NFL highlight reels all the time. Like he does things that you don't see, despite them winning 3 games through multiple seasons, 3, 4. Now this year we finally got 6. He's still going to be on NFL highlights because he does things other guys just can't do.
Right.
So now you're in a situation like, is Caleb Williams going to be better than that? Is he going to be worse? But because of the overall trades that we'll get in return, the future first rounders, maybe a couple second rounders as well. Like, that's a big decision. Like, it seems really black and white in terms of Justin Fields is probably going to be the best quarterback that I think you can go with. I don't care if you get Drake May, McDaniels, Caleb Williams, take your pick. I don't think any of those guys are going to be as good as what Justin Fields has been.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So what are you doing? I'm keeping Fields. Unless I get like a crazy number, which you probably will, but it's going to have to be outlandish. I think I'm still going to keep Justin Fields.
As you mentioned before, he's on every single highlight reel. He's doing things that no other quarterback in the league besides Lamar Jackson can do. He's chasing records. He's breaking all these records with his legs. I think he's a great locker room guy. All the players love him. All the players vouch for him. I think the only reason DJ Moore even came to Chicago was because of Justin Fields and what he can do.
Fields.
Exactly. I mean, they have such a good relationship there. I think if you get rid of Fields, you're really hurting the locker room. The coach is going to break. So many number one jerseys have been sold throughout Chicago. And every single time you play another team, even the Miami's coach a few years back, he said, man, tackle that dude number one. Get Fields down. He is a threat with his arm, with his legs, and he's only developed over the years. Each year you watch Fields, he's only gotten better. There's been no regression. He keeps on killing it and proving to every single NFL analyst out there that he is QB1. He's not a backup. He deserves to be in the field. He killed it at Ohio State. He's going to continue to do better. I think if you put another quarterback in his position, you're not going to see much. If you put Jordan Love in Fields' position right now, he's not going to be the same quarterback. With what he's given, he has made the absolute most out of it. And if you give him some more weapons, give him some more offensive linemen, we already have the defense to back him up. I think we'll be Super Bowl contenders within these next 6 years if Fields does end up getting an ante up on his contract.
Okay, I like that. We'll wrap it up there. As a Bears fan, hearing that news, man, it just puts a smile on my heart. But they got the Packers today. Was that 3:25 game?
3:25 p.m.
3:25. Obviously, it's a big one for the Chicago Bears.
Give it a watch.
Feel-good note. To hopefully take the Packers out of the playoffs, and the Packers, if they want to hold on to their dominance over the Chicago Bears. Let's get to wrap it up for the Niko Project, though. That's Niko to my left. I'm Harrison running the ones and twos.
Yes,
Bill's
sir.
Thrills up next. Don't go anywhere.